A lot of people have the fear of being on camera, and I think that there's just not a very common place for them to find out what to do and what not to do. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 things that people do that completely make them awkward on camera, and I'm gonna give you some tips about how to avoid those mistakes at the end. Tell me if you've ever seen somebody do what I'm about to do right now. Hey guys, do you ever do that? Do you ever jump in a room with your hands like this? I bet you don't. Do you really do the wink and the gun to people ever in life? Is that a thing that you do? I bet it's not. When do you ever see that happen in real life? It doesn't, but it always happens when somebody gets in front of the camera for the first time. Why? I don't know. Yeah guys, so I'm gonna give you some tips right now, and I'm just gonna keep putting my hand to my face for some weird reason because that's how I act in person. No, it's not. Don't put your hands, why? Is that what you do? Is that how you talk to people? Come on, man. That's not how you talk to people. Okay, I hope I demonstrated enough. Tip number 1 is don't do things that you don't do in real life. If you don't wink and gun at people and constantly touch your face and do the I don't know, is that like a GQ man pose? It's so weird when I see people do that stuff and they're trying to communicate with other human beings, but they're adding in all of this extra stuff that's just not real. Like, you can just be you. You don't have to do all that stuff. If that's how you act in real life, then if the camera's on you and you do the same exact thing, that makes sense to me. I'm all about it, do you. But if you communicate kind of like I am with the camera right now, and you just have a conversation, looking at it like it's a human being and talking with your hands, because that's actually how I talk, then do that. Because that's authentic to you, and it's gonna be easier to keep up with that. Now, at the end of the video, I am gonna give you some pointers about how that you can do things like you normally would, but maybe with a little bit more energy so that you're not boring on camera, because nobody likes a monotone, stiff guy. Bueller. And monotone brings me to tip number 2, which is not using a customer service voice or a different voice than you normally would. Years ago, I did a little video contest and I won that contest, and I'm gonna link it below in the description so that you can see that over time you can get better at being on camera. I won that contest, and I'm kind of embarrassed to show you this and even put the link in there because I just feel so stiff and I wasn't being myself. I don't know. I was a boring version of Chris. Chris is normally a little bit more charismatic, a little bit more vocal and loud. Moving my hands around and all that stuff in my videos because that's just how I actually am in real life. So I want to show you both, me here and me there, so that you could see. A lot of this does come with practice. Now, part of that practice is the tone of voice. It's the way that I'm delivering what I say. It's not just what I say, it's how I say it. It's what I look like as I say it, right? So I might be excited about something, but if I'm kind of keeping it to myself and I'm not necessarily looking at the camera, or I just seem like I don't really want to be here right now, but I guess I'll make this video anyway. Well, then that's gonna lose a lot of people, and I'm not going to deliver whatever it is that I'm feeling inside unless the way that I'm feeling inside is like Eeyore, because that's how it comes across, right? It's okay. The other thing too is that as you're speaking, as you're saying anything that you want to say, if you're not smiling and showing the whites of your eyes, actually connecting with the camera, it's going to be harder for anybody to really pay attention to you because those things are attractive. As humans, we're like hardwired to want to see those things. Why? I actually don't know. And just to pound this thing home all the way, your customer service voice that you would never actually use, like, "Hi, nice to meet you.
Good morning, medical offices. How can I help you?"
Like, if your voice goes all up in pitch every single time that a camera's pointed at you, that's something that you can learn to work on. You can learn to just talk the way that you would normally talk. So just imagine that you're speaking to your friend and you use the weird customer service voice or the Eeyore voice. I don't know, would they call you out on that? Would they be like, "What's up with you? Why are you acting so weird right now?" Because if they would, then you can imagine that the person watching you on your videos would feel the same way. They'd be like, "Is this really how this person communicates? It's kind of weird." Okay, let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is faking what you're talking about. Are you actually an expert at something? Because if you are, it should be pretty easy. It should be apparent as you talk about that. You're just pulling stuff left and right out of your pockets. You know it. Inside and out, you know all about it. I'm talking to you about things that I've done right now, so I feel like I could go on forever and make this a 55-minute video instead of the, I don't know, 5 minutes it's probably gonna be. But it's because I've done it and it's not hard for me to talk about it, right? But if you're talking about being like an investor in the stock market and it's something that you've only done for a day or two and you're just parroting what one person told you and trying to make it come across as authentically your content, people are gonna know. it's gonna be pretty see-through. If you've ever been on Clubhouse, it's a great app because it's audio communication between just normal human beings. And when somebody sounds like they're full of crap, you could kind of tell. Like it's harder to hide that when it's audio only. So when you're using video, even more so, the way that you're connecting with the things that you're saying, just, you know, there's more forms of communication than just the verbal. So all of this extra stuff that's happening, the way my eyes look and my mouth, my face, everything that I'm doing right now, it's actually because I'm trying to give you something that I know to be true, that I know has worked and done amazing things for me. I want it to do amazing things for you too. So if you can't tell that I'm being serious right now, I don't know. Apparently then I failed at this message. But I do think that if you're being yourself and you are keeping the tone of your voice authentic to how you would normally talk, and you're not doing weird things like winking a gun unless that's actually how you act. If you're talking with your hands because you normally talk with your hands, cool. But all of this stuff brings it back to my point. Just be you. Don't act. Like nobody's signing up to watch your well, maybe they are signing up to watch your low budget documentary or film or whatever, and you got to get better as you go. But like, if you want to put on a big show for everybody, you're going to have to keep that show going. I've met some really, really successful influencers that just put on a show and they act like they're somebody that they're not. And inside they're hating themselves every video that they put out because they got to put on this show and dance, and it's golden handcuffs that they're stuck to. They can't get away from it because they weren't just being them. And so people love them for who they're not. And yeah, they hate themselves for who they are because they're like, this sucks. I can't walk away from this. I have to keep this charade going and going and going. So if you're starting and you don't know how to be on camera and you're watching this video because of that, the thing I could only pray for you about is that you can be you on camera. It will be so much easier. Hit record, be yourself, keep talking about the things that you know about, and honestly, find your audience because somebody's gonna connect with you about that because you're being yourself and they're gonna see it. Now, if you're trying to fake it, they're gonna see that too. I hope this video landed well with you. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Subscribe if you want more of this advice as I'm growing this new channel, and I'll see you on the